Hey all, first from all, I am not thinking create a Star Wars game in Stellaris. I have recorded this for speak you about other things. The point is how after the Star Wars Day there are a lot of speculation about a new strategic game in real time under development. I do not trust too much on all that story because it was just a tweet from a journalist speaking with other journalists, and he has not told any names and easily it can be pure smoke. But I want to speak to you about 2 points. Everybody are waiting on Empire War 2 and they believe how that game can be made by other company than Petroglyph. It is one of the points from all the discussion and I will continue expanding it later. But now look around all the strategic games from space. As Stellaris they are all games with only space combat. There were not a single game created the past 20 years with space and ground combat. With the exception from the Empire War. Polaris Sector and other games they have an automatic ground invasion mode. An automatic ground invasion mode was the same thing that the older Star Wars Rebellion used with the ground combat. And before the Empire War, there were the Imperium Galactica games, the 1 and 2. They are all games, but as Empire War, they are very unique. However, compared to Empire War, that 2 games were very different. The Imperium Galactica games were not games as the old Command and Conquer. These 2 games had space and ground battles, but they were more centered in research than other things. Anyway, they were 2 of the best strategic games from space never created. Comparing these games and others with Empire War, you can understand my point better about a new game without Petroglyph. I can play a new game, but never it will be an Empire War 2. Why not? First, by the points that I have told you before. Second, because I do not believe how other team than Petroglyph can create a similar game. Petroglyph, at least part of it was involved in Westwood. People which they created many of the best RTS games. Tune games were some of them. The game that you can watch here it was Emperor Battle of Doom, the last from Doom, and it was a very good game. It is a game from 2001 made by Westwood and in my opinion the first good strategic game in 3D.
Structure ready to place.
20 years ago there were many attempts to create a strategic game in time real with 3D graphics, but most of them were bad. Star Wars Force Commander was published in that time era, and it was not a bad game and it was fun, but it had several gameplay problems.
Trooper standing by. It will be my honor. Personal transport ready, sir. All systems active. Personal transport stands by. Trooper standing by. What is your wish, sir? Thank you, sir. And ready, sir. Ready to commence.
Might I inquire what is going on?
Star Wars Rebellion was published 3 years before, probably with a lot of delay because it had not even 16-bit graphics. All the graphics from that game were poor, but it was very fun and unique.
There is...
Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds was other published in 2001, as probably you know. It was made with an engine from Age of Empires, and it was very fun. Of course, when these games were published, I could not think or even imagine the Star Wars Imperial War. I played all these other games, but Star Wars Imperial War was a complete surprise.
Tell me where to aim.
Unit ready. Unit ready. Beginning
After the Imperial War, Petroglyph has made several games more with the same engine, improved with modern features.
extractor complete.
Greygo was one of them. If you play it, you go to see how it is very different to other RTS games and how it remembers to Imperial War in many ways.
I'm here.
It is the style of game, the features, the campaign, everything. Other people than Petroglyph wouldn't make anything similar.
Unit in production.
Of course, I try to be realistic, even if Imperial War 2 was made by Petroglyph, there are very few changes from get a game with galactic space and ground combat.
Coordinates on target.
I think that because, as I told you before, there were created 3 games with that features in 20 years. And perhaps it suffers a downgrade, but I have seen it before in other games. Anyway, Petroglyph represents our best chance from a new Imperial War 2 and not other game company. But there is other style of game that I would like to see in Star Wars.
On it, Commander.
This is Battlestar Galactica Dialogue, a turn-based strategic game with very good space battles.
Squadron target.
Imagine a game like this with the Star Wars ships, it will be great. In Battlestar Galactica Dialogue, you play battles
Yes,
as
sir.
you see here, by turns. You give orders and next you see the action.
Escort clear zone intact. Priority 1, stay 10.
Fighter squadron is taking fire.
Get him, get him, get him.
But after the battles you can watch the previously played battle, as if it was a thing. It is very good, graphics are perfect and in many ways it remembers to the cinematic model from Imperial War.
Firing solution is online.
Unfortunately, this game is not friendly to be edited. It is a game created with the engine Unity 3D.
Escort priority 1, still online.
The games created with that engine, they cannot be edited on 100% because no one will share with you the compilation key. It will be dangerous for the creators because everybody will be able to copy their game.
They're giving us a hell of a storm, sir.
It is at a point that a new RTS game should need if we want to get any change from creating a modification from it, a friendly engine.
Keep your target locked and watch for clearance.
Another thing that Petroglyph has, the Glyph Edge engine from them.
Order received to clean up and de-escalate. Time to clean up and go home.
Well, this story ends here. Remember it the next time that you see any news about a strategic Star Wars game.
Coordinate recall actions. Our people have been through enough.